Hello, Viking friends around the world. We dedicate this episode first of all to celebrating our restart on some of the European rivers along the Rhine and in northern France as well as in Portugal. It's been a long wait, especially for many of our guests who've had their dates rescheduled, and we hope to welcome many more guests onto our river ships in the coming months. As you may have seen in our episode on Monday, our river crew are so happy to be welcoming guests back on board again. So we thought that this would be a good moment for us to take a look back at how river cruising with Viking has evolved over the past 24 years and remind ourselves of some of the very special moments as we start this new chapter. And now a few words from my father, our chairman, about how Viking river cruises started with our ships in Russia and our Waterways of the Tsars itinerary, which is very near and dear to my heart. I've actually had the privilege of sailing it 8 times. And though I'm not supposed to have favorites, you can probably correctly assume that this is one of them. So over to my father on our beginnings.
I went into my files and found some interesting piece of paper and just could tell you about it. The first is in Russian, so it doesn't help you very much. But it says 5th of August 1997, establishment of passenger fleet in Leningrad County in Russia. That is really the beginning on August 5th.
Next, we expanded into Europe with the acquisition of ships from the German KD lines, who were the pioneers of river cruising. And perhaps some of our long-standing guests may even remember some of the first Viking river ships. River cruising was little known in those days. They were largely mom and pop operations, which Viking had the opportunity to professionalize and scale. And it didn't take long for people to understand that to see the world by river is truly a formidable way of traveling. You, of course, unpack once and sail through the world's most interesting and historic places, with the added benefit that it is impossible to get seasick on a river. And once docked, which is usually once, sometimes even twice a day, you're right in the heart of towns and villages, and often just a few steps away from your ship. So our beginnings were really to explore Europe in comfort. And that was our first tagline, which of course we had to change a little bit when we moved further into the world. With the introduction of the first Viking longships, we entered a new era of river cruising. Identical state-of-the-art ships with square bows, which you can see on this ship model behind me. There's the bow. And what the square bow does is it allows for our aquavit terrace, open-air dining. We also introduced asymmetrical corridor, allowing for true 2-room suites. So that was quite revolutionary. And combined with our light, elegant Scandinavian designs, we set a new standard on the rivers, according to many. So here's a little look at how our beautiful river ships are built.
Nestled along Germany's northern coastline is Rostock and the Neptune Yard, where we're going behind closed doors to watch the construction of our Viking longships. Come with me into this highly secured shipyard for a sneak peek at the newest Viking longships being built. Before steel can be cut, months of design and consultation take place to finalize vision and direction.
The design is being made, the drawings are being made, a lot of discussions between owner and the yard.
It's many inspirations and it's many solutions.
We think about lighting, we think about colors, we think about reflections.
Creating something from nothing, from a piece of steel to a piece of ship. That's something, of course, amazing.
Guided by architects from Iran and Storbråten, who created some of the world's finest cruise ships, including Seabourn and Disney, and Rotette Studios, leading designers of properties like the presidential bungalows for the iconic Beverly Hills Hotel, no stone has been left unturned in the ramp-up to production. With plans in hand, the next step is carving the steel.
is where it all happens. Tons of steel is being cut and welded to build our magnificent longships.
The cutting process used to take scores of men with torches. Now it's in the hands of a computer.
All the coordinates on the section drawing are being noted, and then a numeric controlled cutting machine is cutting all the bits and pieces and also put a code on it.
Using these codes as a guide, workers assemble the base of the ship called the keel. Then all production stops to honor an age-old tradition known as keel laying.
Today is a great day for all of us. It's keeling of the next ship for Viking river cruises.
In the past, when they built a ship, they also want to satisfy the gods. And that's why nowadays we put a coin under the keel. It's an ancient habit from the very beginning.
The coin is meant to bring good fortune, and the ceremony is widely known as the moment the ship comes to life. A real privilege and a great honor to help get this ship off to a good start. Rather than a linear construction process, the longships are built in sections, out of order and then joined later. The way they actually do it was not what I was expecting.
At this stage, the sections are all built upside down because it's easier to put in the piping underhand rather than overhand. Next haul, they flip it and start working on it the right way up. You've seen the prefabrication halls. This is the second stage. And here, the sections are being assembled the right way up, and they're coming together to really start looking like a ship, or in this case, 2 ships.
Outside, the longships are prepared, painted, and made ready to face the elements. Inside, it feels like a different world.
It's like a giant treehouse, but made of steel.
Within this steel maze, structural elements, bulkheads, watertight doors, and other essential components are added.
All the connections are there, the propulsion is being mounted and installed, the bow thrusters are in. Then finally you launch the vessel.
At last, it's time for the longships to leave their cozy quarters. They're carefully moved by barge, released into the water for sea trials, and then docked for interior construction and finishing work. And before you know it, these big ships will be out on the waterways of Europe. Finally, during the interior completion stage, the vessel is a buzz of activity. As rooms are finished, systems are checked, electrical is tested, and the team methodically steps through what's known as the snagging list.
The snagging list, they're famous, thousands of comments. Every little damage, everything has to be remedied.
Details everywhere, you have to go for the details. That's the way to get a good product.
This process continues non-stop right up to delivery day. The goal everyone is chasing, but once achieved, is bittersweet.
I know what is the saddest day, it is a delivery. When I walk out and see the ships, I'm of course very proud, but of course we also feel sad that we have to give away something which we have been working on for many months with all our heart and hands, and it's an emotional moment when these ships leave our harbor.
From here, each ship is christened amid a great deal of fanfare, a joyous tradition for good luck that dates back centuries. Then it's time to set sail, off to explore the waterways of the world.
It's a new way of cruising. I think it's fantastic.
We are very, very proud of these ships. It's a truly grand environment, a new way of thinking about hospitality on the river.
From point zero, when there was the first idea on a piece of paper, after 18 months you see a beautiful ship. What better thing can happen in your life than working on something like that?
The spectacular longships, continuing the Viking tradition of innovation.
The fleet of Viking longships quickly grew, sailing the Rhine, the Danube, the Seine, the Rhone, and the waterways around Bordeaux. As we welcomed more ships to the fleet, the occasions were marked with some very special ceremonies.
March 21st, 2012 was a historic day in the world of river cruising, as Viking River Cruises became the first company to launch 4 ships in a single day. from Amsterdam in the Netherlands and Rostock, Germany, the four godmothers beamed with pride as the Viking Odin, the Viking Idun, the Viking Njord, and the Viking Freya were christened.
I name you Viking Odin. May your passengers and crew always be safe, and may you always have a hand's width of water under your keel.
Each of the four Viking longships was appointed a godmother who represents a key pillar of Vikings' heritage. PBS masterpiece and Downton Abbey executive producer Rebecca Eaton representing culture and heritage. Noted British actress Joanna Lumley representing inspiration. Theoretical physicist Lisa Randall representing discovery. And one of our most travelled and treasured guests, Gail Wiswedel, representing journeying. It was a grand and memorable day, topped by an evening of festivities and celebrations.
We even went on to break a Guinness World Record for the most ships inaugurated in one day.
In Amsterdam, the Netherlands, records were broken on March 20th, 2013. In a joint launch with Rostock, Germany, Viking became the first company to christen 10 ships in a single day, breaking its own mark of 4 set just last year. The godmothers beamed with pride as the Viking Aegir, Viking Atla, Viking Bragi, Viking Embla, Viking Forseti, Viking Jarl, Viking Rinda, Viking Skadi, Viking Tor, and Viking Var were christened.
May your passengers and crew be safe, and may there always be a hand's width of water beneath your keel. Well done.
It was a grand and memorable day, topped by an evening of festivities and celebrations.
I'm very, very pleased to announce that Viking River Cruises have achieved a new Guinness World Record for most ships inaugurated in one day by one company. Congratulations.
We are very fortunate to have very distinguished godmothers, and I will not waste a lot of time. This is the first step in a busy week.
I name you Viking Iceland. May your passengers and crew always be safe, and may you always have a hand's width of water beneath your keel.
I name thee the Viking Yngvi. May your passengers and crew always be safe, and may you always have a hand's width of water under your keel. God bless.
Viking Orthwing. May your passengers and crew always be safe, and may you always have a hand's width of water below your keel. Don't cross the scissors.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you.
I name the Viking Edie. May your crew and passengers always be safe, and may there always be a hand width of water below your keel.
Viking Lynn. May your passengers and crew always be safe, and may you always have a handwidth of water below your keel.
I name you Viking Heimdall. May your passengers and crew always be safe, and may you always have a hand's width of water below your keel.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Fortuna. I'm an official adjudicator from Guinness World Records. And I'm very, very pleased to announce that Viking River Cruises has a brand new Guinness World Record title for most ships inaugurated in one day by one company. Congratulations.
And as we continued to explore the world in comfort, more journeys were added for our guests to choose from. We started to explore Asia with journeys on the Yangtze and Mekong rivers, where we're launching a stunning new ship incorporating the traditional ship design of the region, combined with Viking's modern comfort. We also now have 3 ships which will be sailing Egypt's Nile River. These state-of-the-art ships again combine local design influences with Viking's signature Scandinavian style. And after a long wait, we were delighted to announce the launch of Viking Mississippi, sailing a choice of fascinating itineraries through America's heartland. Viking Mississippi has been inspired by the design of the Viking longships, but reimagined to be the ideal place from which to explore this legendary river. And we're very much looking forward to the first sailings in 2022. As you can see, it's been an exciting journey for Viking, and we are now so pleased to be operating again and welcoming our guests back on board with us to explore the world in comfort, on rivers, oceans, and before long, expeditions. So as we celebrate our 24th year anniversary, August 5th, 2021, we thought you might enjoy this short celebratory overview in closing.
When you really philosophize about it, there's only one thing you don't have enough of, and that's time. Time is the only scarce commodity. And then, when you come to that realization, I think it's very important that you spend your time wisely. And what better way of spending time than traveling and continuing to educate ourselves and continue to broaden our minds.
Sometimes the moments are majestic, others quiet and delightfully personal. But one thing is certain. Once you're out there exploring, you're never the same. That's why we travel. For 24 years, Viking has created more ways for our guests to immerse themselves in more of the world. It's a journey that began in the most unlikely of places.
5th of August 1997, establishment of passenger fleet in Leningrad County in Russia. That is really the beginning.
From these humble roots, Viking quickly grew into the world's leading river cruise line. One of the boldest moves came in 2012 with the introduction of the revolutionary Viking longships. 2013 brought 10 more longships, a Guinness World Record. And in 2014, Viking named 16 longships in a single day, another Guinness World Record. Viking Ocean Cruises was unveiled in 2013, with the award-winning Viking Star being named in 2015, followed by Viking Sea in 2016. And Viking was quickly named the world's best ocean cruise line by the readers of Travel and Leisure.
We're very proud of the design of the vessels, and after first year in operation, we are number one. And I think that's quite an accomplishment.
Viking added 4 more distinctive ocean ships by 2021, with plans to continue expanding the newest fleet at sea in the coming years. We'll build more beautiful longships to explore Europe's great rivers. And we're introducing a brand new ship on the Mekong to explore Cambodia and Vietnam. Looking ahead, Viking will sail the mighty Mississippi in 2022. While Viking Expeditions will begin explorations of the legendary polar regions and the Great Lakes, with the Viking Octantis and the Viking Polaris making great strides in being ready to join the Viking fleet.
I think these have been interesting years, but I still feel we are just a startup. We're a small little company. We have the strength of being young and dynamic, and I think we do meaningful things.
With the growth of our ocean and river fleets, plus Viking Expeditions, our guests will enjoy more ways to see more of the world. Viking, exploring the world in comfort.